Constantly shifting through the time-space continuum, Metron's three disciples observe the universe from the Mobius Couch.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my peers, putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom! Explosions, overpowering, over the competition, I'm towering. Wrecking the shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you sit down on the Mobius Couch. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mobius Couch, a time-space interdimensional vehicle from which your three hosts survey the world of comic books. I'm Alessandro, and joining me as usual are Patrick and Joe. Pat and Joe, what's up? I did you both at once.
We're getting introduced together? That's interesting.
How's everyone doing?
It's dicey. We might talk over each other.
I know.
Well, we do that anyway.
Yeah, I know.
We do that anyway. But I'm introducing you together because today is a special holiday 2023 edition. That's right, it's December 2023. It's definitely not after that.
It's definitely
not. Special holiday. Christmas is just around the corner, and that's right, I said Christmas. I didn't say Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. I said Christmas. Deal with it.
Oh, jeez.
Just around the corner.
All right. Well.
I'm sorry. We all know what the holidays means. It's
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe. Hello, Patrick.
Hello.
Holiday 2023.
You know what we're doing, boys? We're
Jingle
gonna talk
bells,
about
Batman smells.
DC Animated Universe Christmas specials.
Yep.
Holiday specials? Christmas specials.
Let's do holiday. We can stop the bit on the war on
Christmas. One's Christmas. No, I'm just thinking of the actual episodes. All right, one kind of spans the holidays, like in general.
They're all. We should
Christmas,
just call
New
them all
Year's.
holidays. We should all. Also, I do just want to make a side note that Kwanzaa and Hanukkah are wonderful holidays.
Good side note, Al.
Yeah, I just want.
I don't think anybody got your sarcasm.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear. But right, we're going to talk about 3 holiday special episodes from Batman the Animated Series. Then I think it was branded The New Adventures of Batman.
Yeah,
and then Justice League Unlimited.
I mean, since then it's gone back to just like, this is season 3 of the Batman Animated
That's
Series.
true, yeah. On the HBO Max app, it's just season 3 or whatever. But at the time, it was technically a different.
I mean, even like old, like 20 years ago when the DVDs were coming out, they're like, look, it's just all part of the same series. Don't ask us questions. We're like, oh, okay, it's all right.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about 3 episodes, one from each of those series, and they are holiday episodes because, like I mentioned, this is December 2023. So we're going to do Christmas with the Joker first.
You're starting with, like, the home run?
We got to do chronological. I'm sorry. We got to do chronological.
All right.
So Christmas with the Joker. So first of all, Batman the Animated Series, iconic for, I hope most listeners have watched it. Unless you're young people maybe haven't seen this. This was an early 90s animated series created by, of course, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. Famously, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, who also worked on, I think, Freakazoid? Didn't they do Freakazoid?
Yeah.
Any other WB properties?
They've done other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Timm basically did Justice League, Batman.
And also the Superman animated series,
and Beyond,
too.
I think. Didn't he do Batman Beyond?
Yeah, pretty much any DC cartoon show.
They also, so a little side note, Tim and Dini created Harley Quinn, the character. Like,
that is
because
correct.
she's super popular now and in movies and all that, but actually she did not originate in a comic. She was created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini for the animated series.
And also, what her relationship with Poison Ivy was established in this. I didn't realize that when we were watching Holiday Nights. I was like,
I loved. That was a cool twist where I was like, "Oh, nice!
They
They're
started
together."
that relatively, or I think maybe that was the first time actually.
I think there was one episode prior to that because, like,
maybe I don't know. Before that, it would have been the old series, and I don't know if they. All I can think of is Poison Ivy when she's all white skinned like that, in the redesign, and I think that would mean Holiday Nights is the first one, but I could be wrong, I guess.
I think it says January 18th, 1993, Batman the Animated Series episode Harley and Ivy.
Okay.
So they do something together?
Wow, they did that way back then. That's cool. That's actually kind of cool to find out.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Look where they are
A
now.
long time ago.
Because the Harley Quinn HBO show's like my favorite DC animated property, basically. But it got its start It got its start with
Yeah.
Bruce and Paul, B&P.
This show is like fucking legendary, and some people are. I don't know, not that it doesn't hold up per se, but like, some of the animation, like Christmas with the Joker, for instance, the animation is not
terrible.
That great.
It's bad. It's just horseshit. It looks.
You
bad.
could tell for certain episodes that they were like, like the Clayface ones were spectacularly done. Like, there's a couple with Robin where it's like a two-parter, and he's doing like a whole thing with Tony Zuko, and that's really, really well drawn. The Man Bat one's really well drawn. There's certain few that you're like, oh, they spent the budget on that one, but not so much the next two, and then like so on and so on. So like, this is clearly one of the ones where they're like, let's pump this shit out for Christmas and not really care, not really care if it's the best of the animation.
Yeah.
But I don't think Joker's face looks the same as it turns from like throughout the entire episode. I'm just like, he looks like a different person.
Yeah. Also, this was also definitely animated, it's a pre-high definition TV show, it doesn't translate to high def very well at all.
No, it doesn't. Even on high def, it's like blurry and you can't really see it very well. But
having said that, the show is iconic. This was actually, if I can talk about me for a little bit, I know I rarely ever talk about myself. But this was like, when I was a kid, I was a wee lad growing up in Italy, which is, a little backward compared to the U.S. in many ways culturally. But my first exposure to like superheroes was the '89 Batman, the Tim Burton Batman movie, and then this Batman TV show, where like the only, because a lot of like cartoons I had when I was a kid were Japanese. Like a lot of Italian TV just brought in like old anime and stuff. I guess licensing
that's
it was
where that
cheap.
comes from.
But like the first time I ever saw like a superhero show or kind of like got into that whole like American superhero genre was the Batman animated series, which side note, if anybody wants a treat, look up the theme song of the Italian version of Batman the animated series, because it's slaps. It's fucking incredible. It's like 3 minutes long.
Is it?
It features a guitar solo. It has a chorus of children singing along.
So you're like, that's Justice League Unlimited territory right there.
It's pretty great. Yeah, there's a chorus of children who sing along. It's pretty incredible. But I love that show, and like that was my introduction to Batman was the animated series, and it's great. I think I don't want to say like it's objectively.
Did you
great.
watch the animated series before the '89 movie?
Around the same time. I don't really. I was like, I don't quite remember, but I think it was around the same time.
Okay.
But the show is just incredible. I tuned in like every day after school. I'd turn that shit on, listen to the cool theme song, and then all the episodes dealing with, it wasn't every episode, but most episodes, like the main character isn't even Batman. Like the villain story is kind of the through line on a lot of these episodes. So like Clayface's origin, Batman is in like 3 minutes.
He's like further removed, like it's Catwoman versus like Red Claw, and he's like kind of there, kind of thing. Like, and that was.
Well, there's that one episode where Killer Croc he gets involved with a traveling circus, and Batman's like literally in just the last 2 minutes.
Just the end,
Yeah.
He's like, I got to take him in. He's actually a criminal. And
like, he comes in as like
I'm sorry, but he did crimes. Like I gotta go.
Yeah, he just swings in as sort of a Deus Ex Machina to be like, all right, we got to reset. You're back in jail now. But the whole thing is about Killer Croc. The other episodes are just about the Mad Hatter trying to rape a young intern. It's like a lot of the episodes are just not about Batman.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty much what that episode was about. He's trying to like mind control her, and he was
obsessed.
Harassment.
He stalked her, and then he mind controlled her and others around her. I think.
Yeah, in an effort to romantic. It's pretty much rape is what that episode is about. So I know I mentioned that a little bit glibly. I didn't mean to say, sexual harassment's awful. But I just meant that to say like the show is very much, it's for kids, but it's very much like a well drawn out characters and storylines.
Well written for the most
it was
part.
Great.
I think it's funny because we're focusing on these holiday episodes, and they're probably some of the worst episodes.
Yeah, they're not the most representative of the
show. They're just like, here's a quick holiday themed episode. See you later, kind of thing. This one is the Christmas with the Joker, story wise, not that bad. It's okay. Like Joker escapes on Christmas Eve, and Robin's like, "Come on, he's not going to do anything tonight. Let's just. It's the holidays. Let's watch a movie and go." Actually, it's funny because that's my holiday tradition is to watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve every night. Mostly because it helps me fall asleep, and because I'm a little child, and I'm very excited for Christmas morning.
Do you really watch It's a Wonderful Life
every year without fail?
That sounds like a living nightmare.
I don't get very far.
Okay.
I get like 30 minutes in. I've seen the first 30 minutes of It's a Wonderful Life like 20 times.
Another cool thing, this is something that I didn't appreciate as a child watching the show, but going back to it, one thing we always talk about, I remember like when we talked about the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, this came up, but we always talk about why don't DC movies just make period pieces? Because their heroes work way better as a 1950s period piece sort of adventure. And this, the animated series, I mean, it kind of takes place in like a amorphous, not specifically
it's not
a time,
like
but it's very Art Deco.
Some of that in there, yeah.
But the architecture is like very Art Deco. The vehicle, it's all very 40s and 50s, kind of that sort of vibe. And I think it's incredible.
Futuristic technology, but that also makes the computer itself like more fantastical, you know. And like you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, how does he have this machine that can do things?
Well, a lot of it too is it's the future as sci-fi in the 50s, and like pulp comics thought the future would be. But I think it's just a cool aesthetic.
Superman cartoon with the robots that like scoop up Lois Lane and put it in the chest and fly off. You know that?
Yeah. You know but it's just a cool aesthetic, and I think it worked. Again, as a kid, I didn't really understand. You know, that part of it was kind of over my head, but
one of the
I think
things
it's a cool
that was
aesthetic.
Breaking for this cartoon was that, and it being Batman, I love that they did this, but they drew it on black paper, so like everything's deeply shadowed. So like whatever you're seeing is what they have drawn rather, and like so all the black backgrounds are really dark and black and like just drenched in shadows. Oh yeah. Like so the buildings, like they just outlined the buildings and put the windows on, and then
that's really cool,
that kind of thing. Versus like the reverse of that, painting everything black like all the time. They're just like, hey, let's start with black and we'll just work backwards. But that's why everything looks so dark, like in the city and stuff. And it's really, the effect of that is rather brilliant, and it looks fantastic and just adds to that gothic noir type, art style to the whole series, and I really love it. And I think it's like a subtle thing that people might not know, kind of thing. But really fantastic. This one, again, the art is subpar for this episode, but it's still a fun episode, and I like. There's certain parts of it that I love to death. But
I just wanted to mention. I just wanted to mention that about the series because it's just generationally, I think, important for a lot of people, and it was like a formative series for me anyway. I mean, but I think most people our age.
Watching it as an adult, it's like, I really enjoyed it as a kid. I watched it all the time, and it would really get under your skin though a little bit, and you wouldn't really understand why it would when you were a kid because you didn't really understand the concepts that they were presenting. Like the episode with Baby Doll, that terrified me. She absolutely terrified me. She's kidnapping her old sitcom family and trying to recreate her sitcom life.
Yeah.
The episode with the artificial intelligence, that's like,
I love that one.
Master, like that was way over my head, and I remember being
just randomly rewatched that because it's a few episodes after this one. So I left it playing. Like I'd watched this and I was like not taking notes really, but like kind of jotting like, oh, here's a thought, here's a thought. But my son was like, I want more of that. And I was like, oh, you want to watch Batman? Absolutely. So like I was just letting him watch Batman, and then the Hardak ones came on, and I was like, yes, I love these episodes. And I was like, this might be a bit much for you, but okay.
How old is? I guess I was like, what?
It's not old enough to watch that.
I was 5 or 6, I guess.
Yeah, Violet has definitely like started to watch it with me a little bit. She loves it a lot. But
well, I'm not a fan. Like I hate body horror because that I just find that stuff gross. But this has a lot of like. There's a whole Island of Dr. Moreau
that one's fantastic.
A human woman becomes like a cat monster. Like that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
and even Clayface's origin, where he just gets like attacked and just chemically, basically he gets chemically violated and just becomes a hideous monster. Like that stuff creeped me out.
I can remember as a kid feeling like really thinking they were going to find a cure for him by the end of the episode. Like I can remember watching that episode and feeling so devastated that they didn't fix this guy's situation. And
I know, yeah. And he he kind of loses it and leaves. But I mean, like, so it's not like they had the opportunity to be like, hey, let's try to help you or something like that. But like, maybe
it's the second episode he's in when he's learned how to like he can like recreate his old face, but he can only maintain it for like a few minutes.
Yeah, that might be the second one. Because in the first one, they don't even know that he got away. Like he tricks them. He like leaves a husk and it like dries out and crumbles, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he's dead." Like they don't know that he's gotten away. Yeah. And it like shows like a woman walking down the street and her eyes glow, like his do yellow, and you're like, "Oh shit!" So the audience knows, but.
There was one that
in some of those episodes. Most of the really well written ones are Paul Dini, by the way. That for the most part.
Okay, yeah.
And but there was most of the really well written ones are Paul Dini.
Well, Paul Dini and actually Bruce Timm may also have been involved, but Paul Dini definitely also did Batman Beyond after this. And one of those episodes like legit give me nightmares because there's one where this dude helps Ink escape from prison.
Yeah,
and he wants her to like give him the fluid so he can get superpowers, and she only gives him like half, so he just becomes this like blob monster. He just becomes this like blob cripple, and it's like that gave me like nightmares.
It's the Clayface episode all over again.
There's nightmares of the Poison Ivy episode. The Poison Ivy episode when she's like reformed and she has a family and she has kids.
Oh yeah, that one's dark.
The husband comes in and he turns into like a plant monster, and I was like, oh, that's scary. But then when the children run down the stairs and they're also plant monsters,
you're like, oh,
broke
God,
my brain because being a kid and seeing a mother. Do that to her kids, like they're not their actual kids, but like
they're not. They're plant. They're fake. They're like clones of the husband, like young clones of the husband or something like that.
The show could be really terrifying.
They figured that out in the most fucked up way because the husband like had a daughter or something, and because she couldn't make a daughter out of the husband, it became two sons or something, and that's how they like figure out that like they find a picture of something of the scientist guy somehow or the husband. And they realized that he had a daughter and a son, not two sons. And they're like, wait a minute. So, like, I was like, that's so fucked up. Yeah. And then the rest of his family is just, like, in jars in the basement. Or something messed up like that.
So fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking
There's a lot. There's another Batman Beyond one where there's this gang of, like, cybernetically enhanced kids who are using this doctor to, like, soup them up. Mm-hmm. But one of them is having an affair with the doctor's wife to, like, manipulate the doctor. And he finds out, and like the end of the episode ends with the guy saying, like, "Doctor, I need you to give me more cybernetic implants." And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll handle it." And then he's like, "I found out you're fucking my wife, and I'm gonna mess you up." And then that's the end of the episode, and you don't even know what he does to the guy.
There's so many dark shit.
Yeah, but that's really dark. Where he's just like, I'll handle you. Like that stuff is messed up. Anyway, Christmas with the Joker, holidays, Christmas.
All right, this starts with. First of all, the Joker puts the tree topper on, and then the tree is a rocket and shoots out. And my immediate thought is, how is he landing this? He's just it just shows him shooting to the horizon, like zero plan. And I'm like, how did he survive?
It's Christmas magic.
Like, just a rocket shooting hundreds and hundreds of yards at least. I mean, he fades into the distance. It's insane. I have no idea what that was. Yeah. Well, at any rate, Joker immediately gets on TV and starts causing a ruckus.
Yeah, and speaking of the Joker, of course, Joker voiced by Mark Hamill. This is just iconic Joker. This is the Joker we all grew up with.
It's really so. Again, Joker kind of starts some insanity going on downtown. I love there is like one instance of Batman and Robin like going downtown, and they're like, "All right, let's just check it out. If he's messed shit up, then we'll go home. And if he hasn't, like kind of thing." And there's a scene of like Batman and Robin on the rooftop, and there's like a guy running down the street towards an old woman, and he's like, "There it is. See, like it's a mugger. So we need to be out here." And the guy's like, "Hey, you forgot your package back like a couple yards back," kind of thing. And Robin's like, "See, we can leave." At any rate, craziness happens. Joker kidnaps people. threatens to murder a bunch of innocent lives.
Yeah, so one thing I want to talk about too. So Bab, this has Barbara Gordon, Babs' mom, like Barbara Gordon Sr.
Right.
She looks like she's about 18 years old.
It's Commissioner Gordon. It's Harvey Bullock, the detective, and then the other one, inexplicably, because he calls them the Law family, which I don't understand at all, is Summer Gleason. She's like the reporter.
Oh, I thought it was I thought it was Barbara, like the wife Gordon. Okay, that makes more sense.
She's not related to the cops in any way, shape, or form. No idea why Joker's kidnapped her, other than that maybe it's because he's on TV right now.
All right, that makes more sense, because I was going to say she looks very young to be Commissioner Gordon's wife, but now that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah. But so Joker says, I'm going to blow up this train in like 5 minutes, and the amount of time Batman has to get to each of the positions where Joker is leading him on like the slow wild goose chase is inexplicably short, and I have no idea why the writers just didn't had enough time for him to get to 3 different locations before midnight. But like, whatever.
Well, just to show how fast he is. He's
the whole episode. You could have timed it to 30 minutes, and it would have made sense. But he was like, "We've got 15 minutes," and like then you watch a 30-minute episode of him getting to like 4 different places, and you're like, "What? Why didn't you just make it 30 minutes?"
Well, you got commercial breaks and all that.
No, it makes no sense. He's driving in between locations on the commercial breaks.
I get another thing too is they're viewing the Joker on TV in the Batmobile, and that's not safe to look at TV.
Yeah,
while
don't
you're driving.
watch TV while
that's
you're
not
driving,
safe
unless it's the World Cup. Then it's all hands are on. It's only every 4
that
years.
Shouldn't be. You as a driver shouldn't be looking at television. One thing I did enjoy.
Robin's watching it.
Well, one thing I did enjoy, like with the train ride and then the sort of whatever planetarium stuff going on later. But like, it's nice to just see Batman focused on saving people and like using gadgets to save people. In so many movies, Batman is just a martial arts. Like, I will punch problems until they stop being problems.
Yeah, So he blows up this train. The reason Summer's crying in this last panel is because her mom's on the train, because it's like a train coming into town with people's family members on it and stuff. And they blow up this bridge, and then the train's barreling towards it. So Batman and Robin get there just in time, of course. Robin decouples the passengers, and then Batman saves the driver. And it's pretty cool, actually. And, again, it's nice to see Batman and Robin save people.
Yeah, it's nice to, like, the main focus of the action isn't a fight. It's just, like, to save people.
Yeah,
it's nice
he didn't
to see
try to stop the train. He wasn't, like, trying to stop it from blowing up. He's just, like, save all the people, and then I'll save the other dude that, is all by himself, and then we'll get out of here.
Having said that train was probably $1 billion in corporate financial damage that Batman could have saved, but chose not to. So,
could have.
The Virginia Southern Railway is in the red because of Batman. Let's just say.
Maybe a little bit, but then Bruce Wayne will put him back in the black, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. He knows what he's doing. He's prioritizing. This is the first instance of Robin doing like a decent amount of work when Batman just goes and saves like one dude and jumps off the train. And what he does is incredible, but he's like, Robin, do all this other stuff, and then he goes off and does this one thing. Because when we get to the planetarium, it's hilarious how much, and which is why my name is I'm Fine, because it's fucking hilarious. Batman. They get there, and the planetarium has a giant cannon shooting out of it, like, instead of a telescope. So that it's, like, blasting the ground. And Batman's like, you go inside and try to stop that. I'll draw its fire. He takes all of 2 seconds to draw its fire and then sits behind a wall where it can't shoot at him, and he's fine for, like, the next 5 minutes. And then Robin goes inside, dodges, like, 100 machine guns from Joker robots, like, blows up the thing, runs outside to make sure Batman's okay, and then Batman's like, I got it, okay? I'm just like, he did all of the work. You did nothing. You were just outside standing by a wall. It was incredible. Just sending that kid in there to do all that.
I did. So one note I had is that Robin is capable, unlike in Batman Forever. Was the note I had, because I know we talk about Batman Forever a lot on this podcast. If there's one thing people know about us is that we mention Batman Forever a lot.
It's our love for Batman Forever.
And Robin does zero in that film. He does pretty much. Well, he does. He dips his hand into quicksand to pull Batman out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one thing.
Quicksand. Would Batman
sand.
not have been fine?
It was
5
just
seconds
sand.
later?
It was just sand. But that's the one thing Robin does in that entire film. But in this series,
Robin's
he actually
not just useful in this episode. He's the whole team.
Yeah.
Batman's just hanging out.
So I just wanted to mention that. Props to Robin.
Dick Grayson carrying a lot of weight right now in this episode.
Also,
all he wants to do is watch It's a Wonderful Life and go to bed.
Another
want to be right now.
Another side note, of course, being the holidays, while they're in the planetarium and there's like the toy soldier shooting, the soundtrack playing is, of course, the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Which is also prominently featured in the JLA episode we're going to talk about. But, Nutcracker music is...
I never noticed.
Yeah.
I watched these episodes very separated, actually.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Well, one of the 3,800 intelligent gorillas in the DC universe that is featured in the Justice League Unlimited episode reprograms the robot to tell the Nutcracker as a tale.
You know what?
I was going to save that joke for when we got to that episode, but there are 3,800 intelligent apes in the DC universe, and they're all villains, and I don't know who any of them are.
Not all villains. What about Solivar?
I don't even know who that is, but
exactly.
Okay.
So Joker tips his hand by winding up a doll for some reason and showing that's like Robin makes an offhand comment of like, I haven't seen one of those in 10 years. And Batman's like, a factory closed down 10 years ago with a giant Joker face on the outside of it. And I'm just, first of all, stop building factories near Gotham City that have a giant clown face on the outside of it. Or amusement parks. Or any kind of company. For that
it's just the Joker's going to take him over.
Yeah,
it's just he's going to move in. Yeah.
Also, they're all clearly failing businesses, and I don't know if it's because you spent so much time on the giant clown face outside of your factory instead of paying the employees or something. But
well, I think it's just the fact that there's a haunting clown face. Yeah, I think it's just the giant haunting clown
to go
face.
To work. What do? You're scaring your employees. They don't even want to come back. Anyway.
Especially because amusement parks are open into the evening, and you don't want a giant clown face from the Ferris wheel looking down at you.
Horrifying? Why are you horrifying?
The demonic smile? That's bad business practice. But
also, what toy company makes 20-foot tall toy soldier robots?
With that one.
I
mean, I think only that one.
That's probably why they failed as a business. No one's buying that for Christmas,
Yeah, also, if you got to think about the R&D involved in making life-size, mobile, bipedal toy soldier, like MIT Lab can't make robots that do that. So, the R&D involved in making those toy soldiers is...
MIT. It's not...
that is true. They can barely make that fucking Osimo robot that's just like, beep, beep, I can walk forward, and that's it. These things are fully bipedal. That's...
Yeah, it's incredible.
Billions,
also,
tens of billions of dollars.
The amount of money was spent on that went right down the drain the second Batman and Robin got in that room because they handled them pretty quick.
They did. Speaking of corporate property damage, more corporate assets just blown up.
Factory, Al. It's not their fault that they left those just sitting around waiting for the Joker to pick them up and turn them into killing machines.
I just mean Batman and Robin must have just in this episode alone destroyed billions in private equity money and corporate assets. Just
maybe
up
Bruce
in flames.
Wayne opened up the LAFCO factory the next day.
I hope they're insured. I just hope
it's Christmas morning, Ebenezer Scrooge style. He just swoops in and cleans up all his messes. The railway, the observatory, the LAFCO factory. Merry Christmas, everybody.
The last note I had.
Watches a movie and goes to bed.
Yeah, the last note I had on this episode.
Yeah.
People with Tommy guns just kind of spray the room where Robin is, and Robin says, "Oh, there's snipers up there." That's not what a sniper is, Robin.
No.
That's not. Snipers don't have just Tommy guns that spray.
If it was a sniper, you would have a bullet through your head, and then Batman would learn that there's a sniper, or vice versa.
Yeah. But the Tommy gun, like just machine gun spray, isn't how snipers work. I just wanted to make that comment. Robin, his tactical training needs work because that's not a sniper.
So Joker's, this is the best part about this entire elaborate insanity. Joker's big point is to hang his hostages over a vat of, I suppose, acid with scissors and a rope while he cream pies Batman with a fake pie.
I don't think cream pies is the verb.
No, that's the term. It's the term.
No, cream pie, the verb, does not apply to
he
throwing a pie in someone's face.
That's what else would you call it?
Just throwing a pie in his face. Cream pie is basically pornography.
But he threw a cream pie in his face.
It's only ever used as a verb in pornography.
I have never even heard that term used ever before. I think I made it up just now.
Yeah. You got
Okay, just a quick tangent. Patrick, have you even watched the fucking episode? You haven't said a goddamn thing.
Well, you guys fucked me over because we weren't going to cover this fucking episode when we originally were going to do the episode. So I did watch it like a fucking month ago. And then you guys fucking were like, let's just do it tonight. And I was like, well, I don't have fucking time to watch this episode now. So I was very high and I watched it a month ago. So no, I don't remember what happened.
In fairness, Patrick,
I started watching it tonight, and I was like, I have no memory of anything.
I remember this one the best, but only because I had to make images of just this one right before we started. So
okay.
I'm gonna be just as hazy for the next two.
I'll be better on the next two. I watched those twice each. So
okay.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. Well, then that should be good. All right. What else?
We all know what it means. Okay.
Another note I had is that I laughed at just because, like, that doll, that Joker, that little Betty Boop doll.
Yeah.
Because he gives it to the woman as like, open your present, and she's like, oh, a doll, and he just grabs it right from her, and he's like, yeah, now I get to use it. I just thought it was funny how he's like gifting her a doll.
Because he's choreographing where Batman's going to go.
I know, but I just
doing
liked
it all on purpose. I don't understand his lot. Like, what are you doing? And then Batman got cream pied, and I went, "That's a good joke."
He didn't. So he didn't get cream pied. He got a pie smashed at his face.
Again, that's not. He got cream pie smashed him in the face. He got cream pied. Anyway,
I want to go on. He did not get cream pied. I want to go on the record.
Right.
No one on this podcast is saying Batman got cream pied.
There is an image of him covered in cream.
All over his face.
All over his face. It's running down his face. Anyway, in all seriousness, I sort of love that. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, it's just like him going like, I just want to fuck with Batman like real hard for 1 minute. I'm going to cause all kinds of insanity just so I can get him to open up this package because I know he'll do it. You know that's why Joker's laughing in the end, because he's just like, I don't care, I went back to jail. I got what I wanted. Anyway, Batman tackles 3 people out of the way of acid as they plummet towards it, and then grabs Joker before falling with one arm. He's incredibly fit. That's insane.
Very strong.
Yeah, he's very strong.
Harvey Bullock is not a light man, and neither is Commissioner Gordon, I assume. He's relatively large.
If you've read Detective Comics #1 or whatever, I think Bruce Wayne actually drinks some potions that give him kind of stronger than normal agility and strength.
That's true, yeah. He did.
So
he was in the Super Soldier program, right?
Yeah, he was part of that.
Is that and anyway, true?
I think that's 100% true. He makes.
I mean, yes.
This is fact. He makes a concoction and drinks it.
In the first issue of Detective Comics?
Yeah, in the Batman origin story, he actually chemically enhances himself. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think he his stats when they give stats, which I don't know why they do that with comic book characters, but he's 250 pounds and he's 6'5" or some shit. When you read the DC Encyclopedia and they give unnecessary details,
it's all
so
muscle.
He's an NFL linebacker.
He's enormous.
Yeah,
it's all
Bullock is also enormous. So I don't know.
But he does save the Joker in a moment reminiscent, reverse reminiscent. But the Dark Knight, he also saves the Joker from falling, and the Joker's like, I can't kill you, you can't kill me, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie and we have to verbalize thematic content, literally.
Yeah.
But he does that in this as well. I love Christopher Nolan movies, but they do spoon feed you thematic content just in
Speaking
dialogue.
of giant, you know, Christian Bale got like huge for that movie and got so big that they were like, whoa! When they saw him next, they were like, whoa, too big. Tone it down.
What's crazier about that is that he filmed The Machinist, which
it was like before. So they were like, "Hey, we need you to bulk up," and he's like, "Okay." We're like, "How big?" They're like, "Big," because he was so small from The Machinist.
Yeah, so he overcompensated,
and he like went like 180 degrees in the other direction, and they're like, "Whoa, holy shit!" Okay, that's.
I think
like if you look at those scenes where he's on those posts training with Ra's al Ghul, you know, like he's enormous. He's enormous.
Like, I think he literally couldn't fit into the bat suit.
He couldn't.
Like, tailored for him. Like, he got too big. He had to cut down.
Yeah. Anyway, good job, Christian Bale. You're an insane human being. I don't know how you do it. Anyway, this episode wraps up with watching It's a Wonderful Life. That must have been a really late... Alfred's pulling late nights, because this must be like 8 in the morning at this point.
Well, Alfred, as we found out in the Nightwing comic, Alfred is a billionaire. So he's, you know, like most billionaires, he works hard, he grinds day in,
He's
day
probably
out,
got like
works
3
long
side
hours.
butlers working, don't you think? He doesn't clean that whole house by himself, right?
I mean, that house must take so much upkeep. Like, it's got to be...
There's a staff. There has to be a staff.
He
to
never
do
not
most
has a
of the
duster in
cleaning.
his hand. He's always dusting.
But I don't think it's physically possible for one human to keep that entire mansion clean. There has to be a staff of lower level cleaners that he directs.
There's got to be, right?
Yeah.
He's just like, don't go near Master
In fact,
Wayne's
you know,
room.
about
He's covered in scars.
seven of them have found the bat cave, and Alfred did have to murder them.
They just pushed them down in one of the shafts.
Alfred did murder them.
There's at least 3 bodies down there, at least.
Yeah. It's 7. It's just historic. It's been 7 people that he said to kill. To keep Bruce's secret.
So chronologically, what comes... I guess the next Batman episode, right?
The Batman one, yeah. The next is the Batman.
Before the Justice League, right?
So next is Holiday Nights. This is from Batman, the animated series, either Season 3 on HBO Max or The New Adventures of Batman, or whatever it was dubbed at the time.
The New Batman Adventures.
The New Batman Adventures. So, which I think were 1997, I think was when those came out.
Yeah, and even before that, they had changed it to The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Like...
They also did that.
The beginning had shifted and changed, so they'd changed the name a couple times. This is still, though.
Yeah, and it's still Bruce Timm and Paul. It's still B&P, Bruce and Paul.
So the art style on this, a lot of people like don't like some of the changes they made, like with the darkness, and I guess they went with like the black costume for Batman, and you know Robin dropped all the green off his costume, and it's just red and black. But specifically, this is like closer to the designs Bruce Timm wanted to do in the first place. Like that's why they went with this. So like, yeah, he wanted to make them all darker and scarier. Like Scarecrow is horrifying in this.
He's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster.
You know, like there's a noose hanging from his neck, and you can never really see his face, and he's huge, and it's pretty creepy. But like the Scarecrow you get in those earlier designs, it's like he's a comical bumbling idiot, so you know it's not as horrifying. I'm not saying all of them. I'm sure some of them were like, that's what I want, but like, you know, like I think Killer Croc is just how he should look. And then when they changed him, I guess they changed him green for some reason, so he changed. Well,
Mr. Freeze too has a much more streamlined, also just black, like a black suit and kind of a streamlined look.
I think he's, and then there's some that didn't really change at all. Like Two-Face barely changed; it just kind of like streamlined him a little tiny bit, and then like Clayface barely, just a little bit, like just. You know,
the Joker
him up a little bit longer.
The Joker's way different, and I gotta say, I don't like the new version with just like the beady black eyes.
Most people don't. I didn't mind it at all. I don't know why. Like it didn't bother me.
I think the yellow crazy eyes are more expressive. I don't know. This one just seems
that's true.
Weird.
Yeah.
But this is also basically the same animation style from the Superman animated show. I think they just kind of updated it to match that.
That's exactly what they were doing. I think they were kind of keeping up with the Superman show. I think that this is like a tiny step beyond that. I think it's like, and maybe that's just because they had a minute to redesign all the characters or whatever. But like the Superman show seems kind of halfway in between these, you know, like kind of updated from Batman the Animated Series, but not quite as streamlined and slick as these designs. But
yeah, All right, but so Holiday Nights is a kind of a
just,
vignette episode. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just remembered that I was taking notes on my iPhone when I was watching The Joker, Christmas of the Joker. And my notes are, the Joker has escaped from Arkham. Robin says he's probably with his family. What?
He's like, he said, Patty, even pieces of shit have family. And then he goes, and then Batman's like, not the Joker. Or something like the incredulity in Batman's voice when he's like, yeah, but not this one. I mean, like, I could get it if it was somebody else. That was hilarious, though.
And then also I laughed when Robin was like, not since the Laughco Toy Company went out of business 4 years ago. I was like, how do you fucking know that?
I haven't seen one of those in 4 years since that company went out of business.
And then
that's common knowledge.
Yeah,
Bruce
everyone keeps track of toys like that.
When they're watching It's a Wonderful Life at the end, Bruce Coyley says, life has its moments, and then it immediately cuts to Joker in a straitjacket.
And look at his smile. He's just like, life is pretty good sometimes. And then Joker's like, ah. And you're like, oh my God, you're a sick fuck. You're as sick as he is. I bet you want to go in that jail cell right now at Arkham and cream pie him. Anyway.
Well, first of all, can we talk how a cream pie in porn isn't even... So a facial is what should be a cream pie in porn, right?
Wait, why are we talking about porn right now? What is happening?
You guys brought up cream pie. A cream pie that you're talking about is a pie in someone's face.
That's what it is.
But in porn, that's a facial. Can I finish my point?
I didn't stop you.
Well, my point is that in porn, getting it on your face is a facial, and a cream pie is coming inside like a vagina or an ass. So it's not really the cream pie of your face.
I have no idea why you're talking about porn in any way, shape, or form. I'm just talking about getting.
Because you're talking about getting cream pied, and I'm saying that getting cream pied doesn't mean in porn what you think it would mean. Because what you'd think a cream pie is in porn is actually a facial.
What about opening up a box and there's a fake hand inside with a spring attached to it and it shoves a cream pie in your face?
But that's a facial in porn. In porn, that would be a facial, not a cream. A cream pie is in.
I'm not talking about porn. You're the only one talking about porn.
Okay, Holiday Nights, vignette episode, 3 vignettes of Batman and Robin in Gotham.
I kind of like this. So I suggested us watch this one, and then I went back and watched it, and I went, I guess I really only like that one part.
I liked all of them. The Harley.
They're good little short stories, but there's not a lot of space to tell the story, so it's very short and concise, and really quick and to the point. But aside from that, it is kind of cool little stories, but like there's not a whole lot here to like sink your teeth in terms of
No,
story.
but they're fun. Well, the Harley and Ivy one is fun just because seeing them together, again, I mentioned I love the HBO Max show, so seeing them together, I was just excited automatically.
Okay.
Ives and Harls together.
The whole bit is that they sneak into a party with Bruce where Bruce Wayne is attending, not knowing it's Batman, obviously. And then they use Poison Ivy's lipstick kiss to...
Which is just like in Long Halloween.
Just like in Batman Forever.
Yeah, just like in Batman Forever. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention Long Halloween, but...
well-drawn comic book. Let's talk about an amazing movie where Robin...
I was going to mention Long Halloween, but we do talk about Batman Forever a lot on this podcast. That is something we do.
But yeah, Batman and
classic... No, that was Batman and Robin, right. Yeah, that's not Batman Forever. It's not Batman Forever.
God damn it. It's a classic. Let's get the billionaire to pay for our Christmas presents.
Also, he signs checks as just Bruce.
Bruce, yeah.
Doesn't do Wayne, just Bruce.
He might as well be Prince. Like, he doesn't need to... They all know.
Prince, who did provide the soundtrack for 1989's Batman by Tim Burton.
That's correct. Yeah.
So everything's connected. Everything's connected. From cream pies to facials to Prince. It's all connected.
So it very quick. So again, this being vignettes, it very quickly goes to like he's starting to resist, and they basically kind of start to try to grab him, and there's like a wide open elevator door behind them where he stumbles into it as Bruce Wayne, like right as he's kind of coming out of the trance, and then they're like, he's dead, kind of thing. And then they're like, let's go. And then, of course, Batman's there 2 seconds later because he's Batman.
Well, I love how their reaction is just like, "Oh shit, we gotta go."
I fucking love that.
He's dead. We should just go.
It was the best part. They're like,
great.
"Oh shit! Ah, he's dead. Ah, fuck. All right, let's take our Christmas presents and go home." Right? Okay, cool.
It was very Always Sunny in Philadelphia type.
It really was. It's like, oh fuck.
Situation.
I also liked so then he puts on his Batman suit to chase them, and just that opening scene, like in the dark room, flashlight, it's just really iconic Batman imagery, just iconic like animated series Batman imagery.
Not that they didn't have this before the redesign, but I feel like with the redesign, like the black on white, like when they use a flashlight like that, are really well done.
Another point I wanted to make is so he follows them into a toy store. Mm-hmm. This toy store is like the Akira bedroom, like the Science Kid's bedroom really in Akira. It's like the scale and terrifying nature of these toys is
they're
like
all gonna start standing up and be like meow, and
yeah,
like, oh,
I mean it's giant boxes and teddy bears and like carousels, large 8 stories. Like it's a horrifying panoply of giant toys. Like I don't know who designed this toy store, but I wouldn't take a child there to shop. It was just terrifying. But like Harley and Ivy are just tossing giant toys at him, and
they're on like a giant tower made of toys, and they really make Batman look like an asshole because he just climbs directly up it, gets to the top, and Harley just hits him in the face with a punch.
I mean, what else would you do? Of course, you just hit him in the face.
Like, you're a ninja. Like Batman's a ninja master detective. Like, think of a more stealth way to approach this situation, not just. They're obviously waiting for you to get up there.
Patrick, if that's the pathway Batman chose, then it was the best one to use.
It was the best one. It was the best one.
The best one.
Yeah. But Batman is also a gentleman. You know, I don't think he wants to just go ham on these 2 ladies. He wants to take them back to Arkham.
I think he's softballing them a little bit. You know, I think he's just like, I'll climb up there and get you. Yeah. What are they gonna do? Hit me with a giant plant?
I mean, if this was the Scarecrow, he would pick up a crowbar and beat the man near to death. But you know, these 2 ladies, I think he's fine.
Harvey Bullock. Sorry, not Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Harvey Bullock and Montoya are posing as Santa Claus and his elf at a mall because there's little thieves running around, and Barbara Gordon happens to be there.
Yeah, my number 1 note is Babs is amazing still.
Yeah,
she's badass. She's always amazing in everything she's in. Also, Montoya in her like elf Tinkerbell outfit looks good.
Yeah, not bad.
Montoya was looking for blood when.
She was.
They're like, there's children that are shoplifting. She pulls that gun immediately and is like.
Well, also, where does she pull that gun from?
I don't know.
That was my question because she's in a very revealing outfit. And she just pulls a gun out from somewhere, and I don't know. There's no pockets in that thing. I don't know where she was keeping it.
Harvey has 10 guns stashed on him. Well, they quickly figure out that it's the 4 little kids meet and turn into Clayface, and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck you all up now," and they're like, "Oh shit!" And then Babs is like, "Oh, okay, I'll change." But I mean, it was amazing.
When Babs changes, like I did love how she's like when Batman changes, it's all very stealth and very fast, and then they take a moment to like. Babs is like getting undressed. You see her clothes flying around while like literally the entire mall is freaking out. Like she literally had to change. She got totally naked in that fucking store to put on her Batgirl costume.
Of course they did that with Batgirl and not Robin in the underwear. Well, Robin in this, in fairness, is a young boy. but of course they do that with her.
Well, in fairness, Barbara is a young woman. Oh no, you mean it's Tim Drake?
In comparison,
he's like a
12-year-old.
Barbara. Yeah. Right. As far as I know, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini aren't Catholic, so they wouldn't sexualize a young boy.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Not that they would, if they're Catholic or not. I mean.
Yeah, but Babs is just anyway. She's awesome. She beats Clayface, uses electricity or whatever, freezes him. She does it
all of like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, I know at this point it's old hat for them. They're like, we know all of Clayface's weaknesses. We can take him out pretty quick.
What? It's still impressive. Yeah, she's incredible. This is something that would take.
Kicks him through a window down into a frozen like ice skating rink from like 4 stories.
Yeah, that kick was legitimate. Like the sound effect used when she kicks him in the face is like boom. boom.
The sound when he hits the ground, it's like, and I'm like, and the best part, and it's got a little bit of it right there, but she just like flips off of him right as he hits the ground, like, so she's not even like taking the impact. I was like, bravo, Babs. Jesus Christ, you're crushing it.
She is, I mean, this is something that would take both Batman and Robin to solve, and she did it on her own. She's just awesome.
Yeah, she does get slashed by Clayface 2 seconds later, but it's only because she's yelling at people to run. She's more concerned about the civilians.
I mean, it's just part of the fight. You're going to take a few hits here and there, but
well, like I said, she was dropping her guard, not necessarily to drop her guard. She was trying to warn everyone to get the fuck away from him.
And then the third one is Joker New Year's Eve is the third one.
Yeah, so the Joker New Year's Eve one,
I remember
being bad, but it's not bad. It's just like, they're really quick vignettes. But.
My main note is like, why are people wearing Joker masks at a Joker rave downtown? Like,
he passed them out, Al, and no one knows what he looks like.
But the Joker does parties and gasses people.
No.
Like, that's what he does in every form of medium. That's like all he's ever done. All he's ever done, Joe, from 1989's Batman to now, all he's ever done is done parties with gas. You know what
we should do on New Year's Eve? Because it's not New Year's Eve yet. We should go downtown, just pass out as many clown masks as we can. Just see what happens.
And then
I guarantee every single one of those drunk idiots would take it. Even if we lived in a world where Joker currently gassed people.
I think people just don't go to Joker raves in New Year's Eve. You're going to get gassed. He's got a plan to gas or blow up.
Dude, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I mean?
Okay.
This is the first appearance of Tim Drake, by the way, and I was all in.
Okay.
I'm here for it. And I loved it.
Tim is such a little boy. He's such a little boy.
I don't care. I love adorable little boy Robin.
I don't hate the redesign on Joker, but I prefer the Joker from season 1.
Yeah, I think I prefer it too.
I don't like the redesign.
At the time, I was like, ooh, he looks cool and evil.
Also, his henchmen wear ballerina shoes. Like actual ballet shoes. They're just little slip-on ballet shoes.
Yeah, what else would you wear?
Like something with traction and like a tread on it.
No, that's silly. They're running around on wood, so you want to be able to slip and slide. And
my one big note on this is when Joker is about to kill all these people when the clock hits midnight, and there's a giant bell, and the bell falls on Joker, and when it falls on him, it breaks
his arm. Yeah, it shatters his arm.
Yeah. Also, this one gets kind of dark because he just straight up shoots Batman in the arm. Like, he just pulls it. He's like, plan's fucked up. Gonna shoot Batman now. He just tries to murder him. It's great.
Well, and then you flash to the meeting with Commissioner Gordon and Batman, and Commissioner Gordon says, "How's the arm?" And Batman says, "Better than Joker's." And I was like, "Oh, that was clever," because it's a very quick thing.
It's
like Joker's arm should have been severed.
No, it's shattered. It's completely broken.
His henchmen are dressed as mimes. That's why they're wearing those ridiculous mime costumes.
That still doesn't really answer the core of my question. I don't understand.
Yeah, his arm gets crushed.
It's destroyed. It's gross. I did want to say the scene between Gordon and Batman getting coffee I thought was very sweet, though. I did like that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to watch this episode. I love that scene. It's my favorite thing ever. The dumb idea that they meet at this coffee shop and just share a cup of coffee once a year to just be like, oh, barely fucking made it again. And then even Batman's like, he's like, it was a close one, huh? And he's like, they're all close ones, John. Like I almost die every time. Like, I don't know, I might seem invincible, but they're all close. And I love that little touching moment between them. And it was a really cool way to bring the audience back into the series after this redesign, because this is the first episode. And I don't know, chronologically it's the first episode. I think technically it aired first, but it's supposed to take place after Tim's around, obviously, because Tim's suddenly there. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun watching Jim Gordon come in and just be trudging through the snow and just be like, I'll have my usual, kind of thing. It was really awesome. Really
I like too, because what the animated series original and the newer version always really focus a lot on Batman's detective skills and the fact that he is a detective.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another scene where, again, he just seemed, it's like a cop. This is just two cops.
Yeah.
Getting, again, going back to what we mentioned about it being a period piece in the 50s, this is like an American '50s diner with a big mug of like American coffee and just two cops, on a New Year's Eve, just kind of chatting.
Yeah. There's
like I just like that.
There's this thing that the movies can never quite get right because they don't have the time, maybe, or something. But like the relationship between Gordon and Batman isn't necessarily something you have time to focus on in a movie. And obviously, the Burton movies and the Schumacher ones after that had zero time to do that. So because they were just pumping it full of villains and whatever was coming around. But like Nolan did it okay, and I think they did a better version of that. Like, but they weren't. That Gordon always seemed sort of like in awe of Batman and not like one-on-one. I really think the Batman movie with Pattinson did a pretty good job of like showing them like actually being partners almost in a way, like fighting crime together, and like you're on the one side of the law and I'm on the other aspect of it. But like this cartoon series just does such a good job of slowly revealing that relationship to the audience. And like this was just a key scene of like it's not just a nice scene between the two characters, it's clearly a tradition. So they've been doing it a while and they will continue to do it, even though we'll probably never see this scene again. And that's why I like it so much. It's one of those things you're like, oh, what an interesting layer to their relationship and who they are together. I love that.
Well, but I think part of the problem is, Hollywood, they always have to like do these things with origin stories and then reboot from the beginning. But this animated series very much is just like, no, this is Batman's been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
He has a relationship with Jim Gordon, and we're just going to show that. And movies just don't do that because for whatever reason we've decided that just everything always has to start with a young Batman and start over, and we've got to show the beginning.
Start from the beginning, like just show us what was going on.
Well, most your standard American audience doesn't really know who Batman is, so we need to be reintroduced each time.
Yes. We need to see it again.
We have to see we have to see Thomas and Martha Wayne die in an alleyway for the 38th time.
I mean, first of all, that's 100% necessary, and second of all, even though Batman v Superman did that, they also did skip all that other crap and just went into be like, he's been Batman, all right, just move past it.
But they did. I'm glad they did show us, and also they gave us a version where Thomas Wayne fights back because he's like a ripped, zaddy 50-year-old who fights back because it's Zack Snyder. So of course he's going to be manly and not just take it and not just die. He's going to try to fight for it.
Thomas Wayne does fight back. What are you talking about?
And actually, you can argue the reason they get shot and killed is because he escalated the conflict and attacked the dude with the gun. Like, if Zack Snyder's Thomas Wayne hadn't attacked the man with a gun,
and just given him
he and his wife might still be alive.
Matter?
But it's Zack Snyder, so that's how it happened.
If you have that much money, I don't feel like your wallet really matters. At that point,
Joe.
It's the principle. It's the principle. Money. You've got to be a man and fight for whatever.
There's a chance that they get murdered after that, sure. But I mean, like, if you get murdered first, you're still going to lose the wallet.
The way Zack Snyder presented that, I strongly believe they would be alive today had Thomas Wayne not escalated the conflict by attacking the man with a gun.
Because then Batman wouldn't exist.
I know, but it had to be that way because his dad was a real man.
All right, let's end this on the weirdest episode of all time, and that's the Justice League one, which...
Comfort and Joy is bizarre. It is a bizarre episode.
It's also a vignette story, but they at least intersplice them together, so they kind of all end at the same time-ish. So you're on three different pathways of storytelling, but it's not quite a, here's a short story, here's another one kind of thing.
And oddly enough, Batman is not featured in any of these vignettes.
He's doing this right now. That's what he's doing.
What?
This last episode.
Yeah, he was busy in Gotham.
He was busy in Gotham.
I see. I see what you're saying now. Okay.
My main note. My main note. So I have several, but my main note is just that this episode really highlights that Clark is a sociopath.
He's fucking insane.
He is not a balanced human being.
The idea.
Insane.
One thing I want to spend 10 minutes talking about. I don't know, Joe, if you took a screenshot. In Clark's childhood room, there is what looks like a plush toy of some demon creature that I can't explain what that is from. It's bizarre. It's some demon creature plush toy on his childhood bed.
Is it like Etrigan or something? Is it just
I hope I have a screenshot of it. I can't guarantee I do or not. Patrick, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, there's the scene where they still wrap Clark's presence in lead. First of all, they've wrapped his presence in lead.
So he can't peek. So he can't peek.
Secondly, they say he still, it's implied, I mean, I think it's a joke.
He still believes in Santa Claus. He's an adult man who still believes in Santa Claus.
It seems like he still believes in Santa Claus. To think that Superman has the mentality where
it's not normal for a man that age to believe in. Not only a man that age, he's Superman.
Let me get to the Superman ones.
It's almost like the way he says it, because they say, "Oh, we had to wrap Clark's presents in lead," and he goes, "You mean Santa wrapped them?" It's like kind of a threatening tone, like
to the point where you're like, the Kents are like, "Yes."
Like basically, it's
like horrified that he's just gonna like laser beam either.
Yeah, it implies in my head that they had a conversation with Clark when he was like, however old you are when you stop believing in Santa, like Santa's not real, and he was like, no, Santa's real. You are gonna forget we ever had this conversation and bring it up to me ever again. Like they're having to play along with Clark. He's terrifying.
Oh man,
Superman is terrifying in this show.
He kind of
terrifying.
Yeah. I don't have a shot of his bedroom. I'm sorry.
He's not as terrifying as John in his human form, who looks like a vampire.
Yeah, but they're just trying to make. I think that's just like visual reference for children that watch the show to like make sure they understand it's the same dude. You know,
I know.
like,
He looks like a vampire, and basically, like his interactions with children is like the dude's a vampire.
See, I think Justice League is on par with that new Batman style.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Pretty much
you know, like I feel like Justice League is more on par with that new version, and Superman the animated series is kind of closer to Batman the animated series.
So on a positive note, one thing that I didn't laugh at or make fun of is Hot Girl's just awesome.
That's so wild because I cannot fucking stand Hot Girl.
I think she's.
I
like
what are you talking about? Justice League Unlimited. She's great. Not great, but I like her way more in Unlimited. First 2 seasons of Justice League, I'm like, she's just like the Wolverine of the team that just flies in head first, like the Raphael.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
But it's like
it's so annoying.
I don't know. Her stuff in Justice League Unlimited, she's like humbled after her betrayal and all that stuff, and she just wears that cool tank top.
We brought up Superman. We're talking about Superman and Martian Manhunter right now, boys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Martian Manhunter he finds this little girl and like learns the meaning of Christmas, but. So this little girl that he finds, I just want to bring up, she lives in an attic.
Okay.
Like her room in the home is the attic, which is not normal for a child.
I mean, tell me more, white privilege.
Most children live in a room in the home. Like they have a room in the home.
That's her room's just upstairs. What are you fucking
It's an attic.
About?
It has like the angled attic ceiling. That's not normal.
Me right now.
It was like always my greatest dream to have a attic that was like finished that you could like hang out.
Yeah, I was like, oh, why don't I have a house like Kevin McAllister? I want to live upstairs.
But an attic room wouldn't be the child's room
because the family was there, so he was up there. That's not his room, though. You know.
But the attic room wouldn't be the child's standard room.
To, like put a family member.
I mean, it could be though.
It's not normal. It's not normal. All right, you have to give me this. Like, it's not standard for a child's room to be the attic.
I don't think it's that weird. It's not that weird. I don't think
it's not standard. Maybe like a teenager and they voluntarily.
When they're like, I'm gonna go live in the attic. Yeah. It's not like her room. I'm sure it's just a normal walk up stairs to the attic thing situation.
Anyway, she's not a teenager.
String pulls down and then like a ladder comes out and they're like, "Go to bed, kid."
Okay. Well, either way, she's not. She's definitely not a teenager with like emo hair.
She's not. No, but she might have like 6 other brothers and sisters. I don't fucking know. Like I don't know.
That brings up a whole other set of questions. But all right. Okay. Anyway, Martian Manhunter.
Maybe they're just like, where are we going to put this one? I don't know. Let's make the attic a room.
Okay, Martian Manhunter, as a creepy vampire man, learns the meaning of Christmas from this little girl who lives in an attic.
This was sort of touching. It was in the sense of like as fucked up as Clark is in this story, and how creepy Martian Manhunter is. The whole point is that he's like become disconnected from humanity and never really was connected in the first place, I guess. And like just is really struggling, missing his family, and every human he ever knew on Mars, or alien, I guess, I don't know, every Martian he ever knew on Mars, and just kind of like, that whole idea that he's like finds comfort somehow, some way in this dumb tradition that Clark has, and he's like playing along with it with the parents, going like, "It's okay, Clark. Okay." But at the end, it's like his weird song, whatever. But like, it's kind of a touching story of him being like, "Okay, I can deal with this. I can adjust," kind of thing.
And I do like how the cat accepts it. I think once a pet accepts you, then we know you're okay.
Martian Manhunter famously loves cats,
Does he?
And Oreos. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yes.
It is also, since all of us, the three of us, have read Martian Manhunter Identity, it's a little bit hypocritical of him to miss his family when he directly caused their death with his hypocrisy and underhanded dealings with the Martian.
Very true.
Underground, but
I mean,
that's okay.
Is that canon? I don't know. That was a DC Black Label. I don't know if that counts.
I don't.
Anyway, where the fuck were we in this storyline? Oh, okay.
Forget it. Let's talk about Hot Girl and Green Lantern. We talked about
Hot Girl, Green Lantern first, and then the Flash. Are we ending this on Ultra Humanite?
Let's end with the Flash. Let's end with the Flash and one of the 38 million evil sentient gorillas.
All right, we're talking about Green Lantern and Hot Girl.
So one thing I forgot is that Green Lantern and Hot Girl were like horny for each other. I forgot all about that. Yeah, but that's they're
kid in the future. Whatever. Warhawk.
They've kind of done that. They carried that through to Batman Beyond, like when he sees the Justice League in the future, like the Hawk.
Yeah,
I forget what his name is. Steel Hawk or something like that.
War
Eagle. I don't know. But it's the son of them.
Why would he be an eagle? That's not a hawk.
I don't fucking know.
Like a hawk and a black man don't make an eagle. They would make a hawk.
I thought it was Dark Hawk or something like that, but that's
that would make more sense.
That's
I don't want to bring it racial, but like Dark Hawk would make more sense than eagle.
Well, I don't think it.
His name is
Darkness.
Warhawk.
Isn't a
Warhawk.
Okay.
Right.
War Eagle. I don't know why I went with you.
I'm glad, now that I said
War
that.
War Eagle is in Invincible or The Boys, and Dark Hawk is an actual old character from.
I wouldn't.
90s.
Okay, but I'm glad that the Black Green Lantern and Hot Girl don't make Dark Hawk. I'm very glad that's not the name, because I think that would be problematic. Even though I made that comment, that would be problematic. Probably.
I think it's funny because they start with like an overly aggressive snowball fight. And then it escalates, and Green Lantern's like, "Okay, I'm gonna kill her now." And then basically makes trebuchets of like ice rockets and fires them at her. And then, of course, she swats them away. But like, what if she had it? What? Just imagine the conversation Green Lantern would have to be like, "Yeah, our seventh teammate that doesn't have like a ton of superpowers. I threw a shitload of shards of ice at her, and one of them happened to puncture through her body." Like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you thinking? I don't understand what's happening. I understand she's like the Wolverine and Raphael of the group, and she's like, "I want to fight, bitch." And he's like, "Okay." And then, but at that point, you're just like, "What are you doing? Don't say yes."
Joe, you just don't understand
you're the good guy.
Joe, Hot Girl she's a wild Mustang. Man, if you're not ready to get in that ring,
but
you're not ready.
I don't shoot at her.
Well, that's why you couldn't roll with her, man. You just couldn't be on that
I
level.
could drink. I would drink with her. That's for sure.
But I do like how her
purple drink with those worms in it. That looks
good.
I
do like how her perfect holiday is a bar fight.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
I thought that was fun.
I'll fight other people with you, but I don't want to hurt you. That's weird.
So they get into an intergalactic bar fight.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It's fun.
Cute.
The one thing is, the Green Lantern is space police, so the fact that a police officer is being involved,
you really shouldn't get involved in that.
You shouldn't get involved.
He didn't just get. He didn't really instigate it. She did, but he was one of the instigators of the entire fight. So
typical police overreach. Just doing whatever the fuck they want.
This is closer to, and I know they have like tender moment at the end and everything, but like this is closer to me being like, ugh. Hawk Girl is kind of annoying these earlier episodes.
I had a different. I liked her back then, and I liked her now. I don't know what to tell you.
I just feel like she was all ego, and she wouldn't stop talking about how badass she is, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Patrick.
Badass though. She was like constantly getting knocked out. Like she'd get.
I don't know that fucking glowing orb thing that goes around her mace. Why don't they do that in the comics? It's so cool.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I like I said, I like her a lot more once Unlimited gets into it. I like.
Okay.
I think it's also her. I think it's also her costume. It's like it's missing something. It doesn't.
Yeah,
the giant hawk head is a little bit off-putting. They should have her Justice Lord version of her. That costume was badass. I love that.
Agreed.
One.
She doesn't have she doesn't have hawk eyes though. If you'll notice, she has human eyes. Unlike Hawkman in Identity Crisis, who had creepy hawk eyes.
Just miss, swing and a miss, you know.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Patrick. If a strong woman with ego, you only like her once she learns her place and is more humble. So I'm sorry, Patrick, if you don't like her.
I guess it's an assessment. Yeah. No, I don't know. It was just
on the record. This is canon, Patrick. You're on the record. This is canon.
She just, she's arguably has the worst power set out of everyone, other than
I did like that Justice League took her up a couple notches though, because I mean, like when they were
know, her power, she's pretty strong.
Was announced, I was like, oh, that better be Wally West. Number one, number two, Hawkgirl, really? But as you watch the show, you're like, oh, okay, she can hang out with Wonder Woman. I get it.
Yeah, but she's not that much weaker than Wonder Woman. She's not much weaker than Wonder Woman.
She does not do. I mean, also we can get into Wonder Woman not really like she's kind of the Jean Grey in the X-Men show of the Justice League, where she's constantly passing out and falling down. But when you take away Hawkgirl's mace, like she would never really be able to do much of anything like without that.
Yeah, she's just flying around. She's not punching somebody.
I don't know. I probably should have done some more, deep thinking on it before I started talking about it. There's something about Hawkgirl.
If there's something that rubs you the wrong way, it's fine.
I'm telling you, it's just
you don't need to elucidate it necessarily.
Strong woman with a big ego rubs Patrick the wrong way. It's canon.
Listen, quit bringing up Thanagar. We're not on Thanagar. I don't give a shit.
She does talk about Thanagar a lot.
Blah blah.
Yeah, she does talk about Thanagar a lot.
Like, where I'm from, this is how it is. Well, you're not there right now. We're at a space bar with a bunch of strangers, and maybe.
But Martian Manhunter does the same. He's always like, "Oh, Mars. Oh, my family on Mars." Like he drools on about that stuff too.
He doesn't, he doesn't put it all in your face. He doesn't,
Yeah, he just quietly broods and then stands aloof.
I just think, call me old-fashioned, but I think if these aliens are on our planet, they could maybe just learn our ways, and maybe just learn to live on our planet without constantly bringing back about like their culture.
Telling me where you're from,
their origins. Yeah. Always droning on about their origins and their culture. This is Earth, buddy.
Also,
that's all I gotta say.
I don't. There was something about the voice actor, I think, for Hawkgirl as well that I really, overemphasized the yeah, like she's constantly like making karate noises, and I don't know. There was just something about her whole.
That's funny because I feel like the same way with Green Lantern because John's voice is like not that deep. Like he way deepens his voice for this, so like. There are moments when he like makes a sound or does something in the same like deep register that he's doing the voice in, and it sounds like really off because it's so fake versus like just I'm just gonna lower my voice or whatever. But like, because he's a really good voice actor. He does a lot of cartoons, but like that and this is just one of his many characters. But for some reason, when he goes that deep with his voice, and it's a really convincing voice, he'll make like a punching sound or a grunt or something, and I'll be like, it sounds weird, like you can hear the fakeness in it.
Yeah. Well, he most of his credits are playing schoolgirls in hentai anime. Yeah. So it is weird that he has such a deep voice in this one. I will say about Hawkgirl, her voice to me.
In those, by the way.
They're facials and cream pies, but. Hawkgirl's voice actress sounds like a 55-year-old woman in the 50s.
Yeah. A little bit of that.
I'm pretty sure she's the mom from Wizards of Waverly Place.
I don't know what those words mean.
Gomez,
I know those words mean, but I don't. know who that is.
But for whatever reason, even back in the day, I always thought her voice actress just sounded like an old woman.
I'm not saying she's it's just I don't know. It's just the screaming, the way she would, I don't know.
Yeah, like she's putting too much like toughness behind her scream, where you're just like, that's not what you sound like, just scream.
Okay, let's talk about the Flash's story.
That was a good transition.
Yeah, so speaking of that.
So this ends with them snuggling on one of the monsters they were beating up. And it's, I suppose, touching Christmas Story. I don't like, this is the one that I'm like, this is, I know it's not traditional, like, let's tell a holiday story, but like, this was as far removed from that as possible. And it was just like, this could have just been a date, at any time of year. This has nothing to do. But I guess the tender moment was nice at the end, and they snuggled.
It was also the beginning of this segment is very bizarre because it just starts off with the most oddest, basic, simple looking aliens. The Justice League are helping them build a reverse matter machine or something. Why?
It's some wild. Like the amount of thought they put into the 5 seconds of dialogue in the beginning of the episode is like, why did you do that? Why didn't you just? You could have just had them in the watchtower and been like, well, another successful mission. Let's go. Like, you didn't have to start with this dramatic thing.
It's like a huge thing is happening where realities are combining and destroying everything.
It's insane.
Afterwards,
it's literally insane. They could have done a whole 3-episode arc on that. Anyway, as I was saying,
whose voice actor I don't dislike is the Flash, Michael
Rosenbaum. Lex Luthor as the Flash.
He is the best.
He is great. Also, I one of the things from the Justice League cartoon, because I don't know if we haven't really talked about it on the show, other than I might have mentioned it in passing, but I fucking love Wally West and he's the Flash to me. So when this show came out, I was like, that better be fucking Wally and not Barry, because fuck that guy. And then as the show went on, they don't tell you who he fucking is ever. And I'm just like,
no, they
based
do
on
in
the
one.
Personality alone, I would be like, well, I assume it's Wally, but if he pulls off that mask one day and it's Barry, I'm gonna be really upset. And fast forward to I want to say it's season 2.
Yeah, no, they do reveal it's Wally.
Where they finally, he takes off his mask and it's Wally. And I was like, thank fucking God. If that had been a blonde-haired man named Barry Allen, after all this time of me just assuming it was Wally based on his personality, I would have been very upset.
Well, because they do the big thing in Starcrossed. I don't know if that's the first time it's revealed to the audience or not, when Hawkgirl betrays the team and they're all running underground. Flash doesn't want to take off his costume, and Bruce, he's like, I don't want to tell you my secret identity.
That is the first time. That is the time.
Yeah. Batman goes.
Well, then they also do it. I guess it was later,
Lex
but
Luthor one.
when
Is that what
Lex,
you're talking about?
when Lex and
That's
Flash
unlimited.
trade,
That time, so when he takes off the mask and it's Lex in Wally's body, and he takes off the mask and he's like, I don't know who this is. At that point, you already know. You've seen it before, I think. So it must be in Starcrossed that you're talking about, Patty.
Yeah, he says Clark Kent, Wally West, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
You're
I
Bruce
love
Wayne?
that. You're Bruce. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So the Flash is awesome, and he gets a toy for this orphanage.
he gets a DJ Rappin' Duck who just farts and raps.
All these kid orphans are wanting a toy, and he goes out of his way to get it for them, no matter what. And in the meantime, crosses paths with a pure dreamboat. The
only note, I know you already said it's Ultra Humanite, but my only note for this little vignette was, which goddamn gorilla enemy is this?
Did you watch the episode? I mean, they say his name.
But I didn't. Just when he first shows up, I was just like, God damn it, I don't know which one this is. I don't know if it's.
I would say he's one of the more. Grodd is probably number 1. I would say Ultra Humanite is probably
number 1 for sure.
Number
Ultra
2,
Humanite actually isn't connected to Gorilla City,
right? Because I think he was.
No, he's a different. Yeah,
he's a different thing.
Yeah. But then there's also, what is it, Monsieur Malan the Brain?
Yes, there's also Monsieur.
That's another gorilla one. There's just a lot of gorilla enemies in the DC.
Wait. He's the one that's not connected to Gorilla City.
Only Grodd is connected. No, there's another one who isn't Grodd who's connected to Gorilla. I don't remember his name. But there's
the good guy.
Ultra Humanite,
Anyway.
I think, was a man that put his brain into a gorilla.
Yeah. Something
Why?
Like
Why do that?
that. For strength. Do you see how strong he is now?
What's the point?
Do you see how big the dick is under that?
But
flash?
he uses a gun anyway. What is his strength, Matt? He uses a laser gun either way.
Because his brain is stronger than his brawn.
So apparently the original Ultra Humanite was paralyzed from the waist down. And, I guess that's why he did that.
Well, why not put your brain in a human body?
Because he was a villain and wanted to fight Superman? I don't know.
For the strength!
You're a monster. I would put my head back into another human.
I don't think he cared. Anyway, or maybe it was available.
I would just like if I was. He just found a gorilla.
At the zoo. He's at the zoo.
Just found a gorilla.
He's like, there's a candidate.
Gorilla. He's like, no one's gonna miss this gorilla.
No, Atlanta Zoo is not gonna miss the silverback gorilla. Come on.
I don't know. I would use I'd kidnap Timothée Chalamet or something to take over his body and just live his life.
Chalamet.
Yeah, I would just live his life.
What of all? What?
Was he a famous celebrity?
Yeah. I mean, have you seen Wonka? It's such a good movie. So Ultra Humanite, in the process of defeating the Flash, breaks the toy, and Flash is more upset at that than containing Ultra Humanite, and he's like, "Oh, I hurt your feelings. What happened?"
Yes.
Like, this is for kids, you dick. And he's like, all right, begrudgingly accept. And it's actually I actually kind of like this one almost as much as like the Batman Gordon discussion at the end.
No, this was a sweet. Yeah, it was a sweet
little
episode.
And I really kind of enjoy the dumb ending where he's like, all right, take me to jail now. Like, when, and he just like resigns himself to doing it. And he's like, you got me. All right.
Yeah, and
then at
we
the end,
mentioned
Flash
it.
is like, here's a little Christmas tree for you.
Yeah, and again, the Nutcracker figures prominently in this because he reprograms the DJ Duck, and instead of farting and rapping, he says the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Which I have kind of a criticism on that, because so the way all this is presented is basically that like rap and youth culture is brainless and dumb, and classic stories like the Nutcracker have more value to children.
I think,
and I kind of conceptually disagree with that.
And youth culture can be dumb at times.
Well, but it's not saying, because obviously like rap isn't literally a duck farting, but I think this is equating like youth and hip hop culture. I think
this was a shitty cartoon duck that just plays on stereotypes and is bad culture.
I think the very conscious intimation here is that classic storytelling is better than modern youth culture, and that's what this episode is trying to say. And I disagree with that message. I don't think that the Nutcracker is a better...
I disagree with your interpretation of the message. Okay. I think it's them going like, this is a shitty cartoon, and kids shouldn't watch this crap, and it has nothing to do with like what's happening on the screen.
I don't think so. I think this is very consciously a hip-hop rapping duck.
I think it's just like, don't watch Teletubbies, watch Sesame Street. Like, this is
I just
kind
of thought it was just Ultra Humanite's personal preference. That I was
and that's kind of...
These kids need to be cultured. It was kind of terrifying when he turns the duck on and it starts playing, like, it gets really quiet, and then that glowing orb comes over the duck. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I was expecting it to like explode and Flash and I have to race it out of there at super speed while it slowly erupts in his hands.
Having said that, it's a sweet moment. He fixes it for the kids, and the Nutcracker is a classic Christmas tale, and it's beautiful. Of course, Tchaikovsky's beautiful music for the ballet, so it's a nice moment.
When Flash brings the Christmas tree to Ultra Humanite and he puts the lights on it, and the Ultra Humanite, like, you can tell he's reminiscing about his childhood. Very touching moment. It gets me every time. Even before that, he's like, "What the fuck is this, Flash?" And he's like, "I thought I'd get you something nice." What does he say? He's like, "An aluminum Christmas tree. We had one when I was a kid." Mm-hmm. Thank you. I was like, "What is happening?" So adorable.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. The Flash story is a good one. Shockingly, because Flash is rather shallow in these episodes. until
they do a lot of work though with him. Like
he grows up later. Yeah,
but he did the same.
He is the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah, and there's a similar. I mean, it's pretty different, but there's also in Young Justice, like pretty much the only episode centered around the Flash is about him delivering an organ during a snowstorm.
Yeah.
But I think both
Also,
series,
Wally
like all
West.
the series, kind of have similar characterizations of the Flash as kind of this, the soul of the team and like really just a heroic, like selfless figure who just, I've got to help these kids.
That's funny because like in the comic books at the time, they were really pushing like Martian Manhunter as like the heart of the Justice League, meaning like he's an alien, but at the same time he's the one that like holds the team together, and he'd been there for like so many iterations at the time, leading up to like the one where they finally brought back with Porter and Morrison, where they brought back everyone like Superman and Batman and everything. But he had been kind of like the one that was always sort of on the Justice League randomly. And I think they were kind of like trying to make him kind of like, oh, he's the reason there's still a Justice League or whatever, kind of thing, which is not what they did in the cartoon at all. But I prefer the Flash because Wally's the best.
Yeah, because they even had that episode where the tricks, like I think two of the other heroes are following the Flash around, and the Flash basically, instead of beating up the villains, he just like talks to them and like knows that they're just kind of mentally struggling and kind of just gets them the help they need as opposed to just beating the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was an adorable look back at the holidays that just passed by.
There we go.
And the Flash, totally not the middle of January right now.
No, this is a special holiday special 2023 holidays.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, we talked about it all. We hit it. We did it.
Yeah, I think we won comics for this week, and by comics I mean I guess the animated series holidays.
I have one more note that's not related to any of these vignettes, but just going back to how terrifying Superman is in this show. Yeah. There's an episode where the Question in Justice League Unlimited figures out that the Justice Lords were from an alternate timeline where Superman murdered Lex Luthor when he was president. And he's Question is confronting Superman about this, and Superman has his hand resting on a metal chair. And when Question's like, "You killed Lex Luthor," Superman grabs he clenches his hand, and like crushes the chair.
He
goes, "Question, you can't tell anyone about this." I was like, that was some straight up Homelander shit from the boys. Like, terrifying.
There's a lot of man. This Christmas episode really there's a lot of Homelander in that, like. Santa Claus is real. I'm like, yes, he is, Clark. Yes, he is.
yes.
The elves wrap your presents in lead because they know who you are. It's not us.
Yeah. But it is true. I mean, Superman is sort of terrifying. Like, he could he could just destroy the Earth.
Obviously, yeah. That's why Homelander and all the evil versions of Superman exist, to analyze that aspect of his character, because like they'll never do it to real Superman because that would not make him very Superman. But yeah, everyone loves that thematic like analyzation of that character. Just like, what if he was not perfect?
Well, Zack Snyder
makes
loved
Superman
it
so awesome because he is perfect, Well,
except Zack Snyder just creates a Superman who is not interested in saving anybody ever. Any of those movies.
I mean, really insane. We talk about it all the time, but like, I enjoyed watching the fight in Man of Steel. But Jesus Christ, man, you could have handled that in a billion different ways that did not involve destroying the entire city of Metropolis. Like, maybe not the entire city, but like
there was quite a few buildings. Well, I mean, he didn't.
Well, but it was
the machine
involved in it.
Yeah. They punched through like 3 buildings.
I read an article. Back closer to when the movie came out, I read some article where someone was like looking at population densities in American cities, and they're like, conservatively, like about 500,000 people died that day. And I was kind of like, yep, that's our hero.
Yeah, because of the terraforming machine, not from
But I
the
thought
fight.
the terraforming machine was like on a different part of the planet, wasn't it? I haven't.
No, it was on both
the planet. And
it was meeting in the middle.
And also smashing, I don't know, China, Indonesia.
No, it was like the middle of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, because he went from there whatever. It was. I don't want to talk about that movie.
I just don't. I mean, I know that's like, for the plot or whatever. But I just don't understand why Superman just doesn't grab every villain and fly up into space and fight up in space. Like, why?
Yeah, even if you look at Dragon Ball Z, Goku has a learning disability, but even he knows to like go to the desert to fight.
Yeah.
Even he understands I don't want to kill people.
Defend that fucking movie, but like how boring are the superhero fights recently? Because the backlash from like the audience from that one movie has like changed every movie after that. There's never a fight with any sort of danger, or you don't have to subtract the heroes away from the city they're protecting. They just have to also protect the people in the city.
Yeah, but they never do. Right, but which they don't do.
That's the key that I feel like they're missing there. It's like, stop taking them into the middle of the desert. Well, like, we were ripping on the Flash movie for that, because like the fight was in the middle of fucking nowhere. And we're like, what is this fight? Where are they? Like kind of thing. And then they're like, but if it was in the city, we would have been like, what the fuck? They're just ripping the city apart, blah, blah, blah. There's a happy medium there. It's called save the people while also fighting the supervillain.
Yeah, but we can't.
That's the whole fucking point of the heroes having a city to protect.
We're never going to have that, though. We just have them fighting mega villains, and that's all we're going to get.
Anyway, all right. That's been Mobius Couch for this week, boys. I think
holiday special. Everybody enjoy. So Merry Christmas,
special.
Merry Christmas, Merry Kwanzaa, Merry Hanukkah, Merry all the holidays.
Enjoy our belated
Happy New Year
holiday special to start the year off.
Happy New Year. Yeah, 2024. It's coming, but it's still holidays. 2023.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming.